Capital Region recovering tonight from a slate of severe weather from last night, just as another round of storms are rolling in today.
In Hoosick Falls, the village declaring a state of emergency due to the storm taking down power lines and trees, coming down on multiple and blocking streets. In Columbia County, in addition to the trees and power lines, some buildings also sustained damage due to the high winds.
News 10 ABC's Zion Decoteau touring the county with a look at the damage tonight.
It's the calm after the storm. With severe weather across the Capital Region last night, this Columbia County farm was one of the several spots that sustained damage. Kinderhook Farm saw 2 of their chicken coops overturned by heavy winds. Farmhand Frankie telling me she's grateful that their livestock survived.
It would have been pretty devastating to wake up this morning to our flock, taken out.
Farmhands also telling me this guard dog, which keeps watch over its flock, was frantic at the sight of fowls trapped in their overturned home last night. One of the survivors of the thunderstorm didn't seem fazed by last night's events, even wanting some camera time of its own. It's the calm after the... But that wasn't the only part of the property that was affected. The farm's insurance agent, Kirk Neller, surveyed the damage and crunched the numbers.
We've got half the roof that got tore off and some truss damage, and it's a mess. Well, between cleanup and just replacing that whole section of the roof, I'd have to go with somewhere between $15,000 and $20,000.
A little ways from Kinderhook is Chatham. On the narrow wooded roads into the suburb, this is what we saw. Fallen tree branches lying down in the middle of the street. This tree branch providing more shade than these homeowners probably bargained for. Over on Kinderhook Street, Zeus's power flows on only one side of this fence. The house on the left with electricity, on the right without. A hodgepodge of power agencies controls the flow of current into Columbia County. National Grid in particular says they hope there can be some Friday night lights by 11:30. As for Kinderhook, farmhand Georgia Ranney says she's grateful for the outpouring of community support.
We're okay, and our farm store is still open, and I'm so grateful.
Experts advise you to stay at least 30 feet away from a downed power line. If one touches your vehicle, you're advised to stay inside and wait for help unless there's a fire. As for power outages, National Grid in particular says, don't assume that they know your power is out. Call them and let them know. Reporting from Columbia County, Zion Decoteau News 10 ABC.
Meanwhile, in Vermont, the state was also affected by the storm that blew through here last night. In Colchester County, residents right outside of a restaurant ducking for cover as lightning, wow, look how bright that is, struck nearby. Meanwhile, in Bennington, the old Bennington cemetery impacted by the storms. These are images from Bob Hoare where trees came down over the fence. This is the cemetery where Robert Frost is buried. Mr. Hoare says he just finished repainting the fence earlier this week. Storms also causing massive outages across the state, mostly around Bennington County and southern Vermont. As you can see on your screen, there are more than 3,000 outages right now, affecting more than 40 towns. Stay tuned later in this newscast when News 10 meteorologist Rob Lindenmuth breaks down the storms from last night and the storm hitting parts of the region today. For the latest Storm Tracker weather forecast, download our app. Check it out on Google Play and the App Store.